Welcome Soul Tribe. I'm going to be doing a North Node in Pisces reading, and this is going to be happening on January the 11th of 2025. So whenever you find this message, you are meant to find it. But given that I have needed to cleanse the air, cleanse your mind, I'm getting this sense that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you over the next few months to start clearing the air about a situation. So, in today's reading, we're going to have a look at how this North Node shift is actually going to be impacting you. All of us have different placements when it comes to what our North Node is, and a quick little internet search will give you a deep level guidance as to how your North Node impacts you, but the North Node is about your destiny. What is it that you truly want to get out of life? And this is going to be a general reading for all of you. And as I look at the pre shuffle down here, like there's a great chance for you to start getting onto calmer waters, being able to navigate your emotional depths from within, but also being able to express yourself, express your ideas. And underneath there, we do have the Two of Swords. The next 18 months, I'm hearing there's going to be a massive clear out of your psyche. It's going to be very important to honor every single decision that you make because at the end of the day, we'd like to think that we're making decisions based on intelligence or making sure we're getting good advice from external people around us. But at the end of the day, there's a little bit of a reminder in here. We're all making it up as we go. And there's something about this shift into Pisces in the North Node and Virgo in the South Node. You have to give yourself permission to go with whatever decisions you think is going to be best for your highest possible alignment, your highest possible timeline, because there is a lot of potential that's going to help you in the long term. There is a portal opening up that will invite you into a new job, a new career, and I'm hearing even a brand new mindset. But you're going to have to go with the flow. You're going to have to get comfortable with change because a lot is going to be shifting in a short period of time. And you could risk feeling disappointed. Because there are some things, because this is about your destiny, that you will need to let go of. And there's a question within here asking, are you brave enough to feel good? Are you brave enough to feel happy? Are you brave enough to feel joy? Because anything that does not bring you joy and happiness, you're going to have to let it go. So, if this sounds like your message, you're more than welcome to stick around. If we haven't met yet, my name is High Priestess Berries, psychic, medium, and divine channeler, hoping to bring you a message. Now, always remember, my messages are candid, unscripted, but they are also timeless, so please tap into your instincts. Listen to your intuition. If there is anything that I talk about that doesn't make any sense, totally fine. Do not worry about it. This message may not be for you, but if it does resonate, please let me know by subscribing and sharing your situation in the comments below. I have to go to shuffle here. King of Swords. Like this is going to be the theme for the next few weeks is being logical and thoughtful and feeling good that you're making decisions that are in alignment to yourself because underneath there is something you've been working on that has not been coming to fruition. So I'm going to go ahead and cut, get an idea of the baseline energy. I also get some oracle message as well to help guide you along. So you can see with my little table right here, I got the south node, got a little bit of the north node going on. I also have the full moon in Virgo, as in getting enlightened about what it is that you need to let go of. But also, we got a new moon in Pisces over here, subconsciously acknowledging some new changes in your life. I do like this. We do have the sun, and just because we're doing tabletop, we gotta play the censorship game. Lame. But either way, like there's a chance for you to be very optimistic with what's going on, but it's all about your perception. There's a reason I chose the tarot of oppositions because you get to see the light and the shade. Previous version of you might have been a little bit of a happiness pump. I can't afford to feel the bad thing because if I feel the bad thing, then I don't get the good thing. And there's been a bad habit of denying your emotionality. But underneath the sun, we got the card of judgment. You are going through a death rebirth cycle at this time. So, what do we got going on over here? Wow, you're gonna have to embrace different ways of doing things. It's sort of as though the way that you've been operating was useful, but because you are changing, it means that you're going to have a very deep look behind your motivations. Because again, our old timeline no longer fits with where it is that we are going. What do we have up here? We've got Five of Pentacles, being worried that you're going to be left out, being worried you won't be able to pay the rent, being worried that you won't be able to take care of your children, your family, your loved ones. This also includes pets. You also have Page of Pentacles. Like, there's a lesson to be learned in here because you may not have recognized you were already in an impoverished mindset. There's something about this shift that's giving you a new perspective on life, giving you a new lease on life when it comes to work, when it comes to what's worth dedicating yourself towards. Because if you look underneath here, we do have, let's have a look at them like this. Like, you're actually taking bad advice and it's making you impoverished and thinking as though, oh, well, at least it's benevolent impoverishment, but that's not really what you want. God, I love this deck. What else do we have? Got the Hierophant. There we go. There's a way that you have been taught that needs to shift because with the Piscean energy, just in general, like Pisces is very mystical, intuitive. It's a very imaginative frequency. It really looks at the depth and the flow of energy, but it can get a little bit stuck. I see these two little koi fish that are circling on the card down here in your your destined corner, your destiny corner. And it's easy to kind of get stuck in the same spot. There's nothing wrong with holding back and having a look at the situation, but there's something within your mindset that has told you that something that, your mindset told you that, wow, we got the Emperor. You can't make it on your own. You need a man in your life. You need a job. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, those words are true. Like, that's how the 3D is supposed to work. We're supposed to be working in terms of making abundance so that we can have the best possible life for ourselves. But we're living in a world of cryptocurrency, international banking. We're going global. And regardless of how you feel about globalization, we're a part of it. That's part of our journey and the next phase of us understanding what is money, what is abundance, what is actually worthy of money. That's interesting because information is money, but it doesn't mean that gossip is valuable. Wow. Okay. So I've already gone ahead and pre-shuffled the Sacred Symbols deck. We got the card of the new moon. We are going to have a new moon in Aquarius at the end of this particular month, and that is going to be in line with this Pluto now in Aquarius energy. So there's something about understanding technology, understanding information, and what it is that we need in order to feel fulfilled. And there's something about the end of this particular month that it's going to kick off this cycle a little bit more formally. Wow, I didn't even look here earlier. Got the card of jealousy. In some ways, guys, you may not have realized how much you've been really projected on and you took it on as your own, but underneath here, psychic. There's a psychic wound that's getting ready to be healed. Like you see these two, they could almost look like they're crossing over. They could almost look like these psychic symbols, but it's you've been trying to cross over and read energy that they don't belong together. You've been kind of mixing two bad ingredients together and then wondering why it's getting explosive. Like, I'm all for mimosas, Sunday brunch is always fun, but I'm one of those people, I'll never be a chemist because I can never remember, like, do you put the orange juice in before the champagne or do you the champagne and then the orange juice? Like, there's something about you've had the right ingredients, but you've been doing it in the wrong order. After I go to cut, good fortune. Like, something's being lifted. This is the same color combination we got from the jealousy card a little bit earlier. Shadow. Like, you're going to be able to start discerning your own energy from other people's projections because you might have been afraid of this little monster, but he's cute. He's like dum dee dum dee dum dee dum dee dum dee dum dee dum. Like, it's a little Sesame Street. Like, this is very childlike, and I've said it before, where it's when you look at the monsters, if you could just look at them and be like, you're not scary, that's just the way that you look, and recognize what that is supposed to mean. What do we have right here? Spiritual cleansing. Wow. Got past life. That's story checks. Boundaries. Okay, that's going to be a big one. And one more, home. So, like, one of the things that you are more than likely going to start to have to embrace in the immediate term is having way better boundaries with the people that you spiritually attend to. There's a bit of a past life karma. This could be with a friend, a lover, a family member, even if this is somebody that you actually do have a genuine good relationship with, but there's something about going through the change that you're going to have to recognize where you haven't been fully honest. It's sort of as though people have been asking for your opinions, but you've been afraid to give them the full answer because of this fear of being left out in the cold, because you've been afraid that maybe they won't speak to me ever again. Maybe I'll lose a friendship. Maybe I'll lose a resource, especially if this person could be a spiritual resource. We do have the Hierophant again right here. But given that we do have the card of past life, like you're being asked to really learn from your past incarnations. That's what the South Node is about. When we look at our south node, and again, I really do encourage you, if you don't know anything about your north and south node, it's just a quick little internet search and you can go down your own little wormhole as to how your specific sign will give you some guidance as to what it is you want to get out of this incarnation. But when the North Node shifts, it impacts all of us in a very subconscious way. And Virgo, in its toxic aspect, while it's very nurturing, it could sacrifice too much of self for the needs of others. And it can really mess with your intuition if you're prone to magnetizing narcissists or people who take advantage of your generosity. There's a lot of good fortune ahead for you guys through the shift, but until you're able to start looking at who has been abusing your generosity, you're going to continue to magnetize people who will invade your boundaries. There's actually something about setting new limits, setting the new tone, whether this is at work, through your spiritual practice, your friendships, families, even like, and we had the card of home, like especially for those of you who live in an area that's high population density, where you hear people talking through the walls, or folks just traipse on your lawn without any thought or consideration of the hard work that you've poured into it, or even just recognizing that you have people in your life that you probably thought you were equal to them in terms of spirituality, but kind of seeing how they haven't had great boundaries, noticing how they actually are suffering through things that are completely unnecessary. And even when they ask you for help, they don't listen. Really recognizing the people that you're talking to, if their heart chakra is blocked, not taking it personally anymore. Your home life is getting ready for an upgrade. So I'm going to shuffle and get some more cards here with the tarot of oppositions, because, like, really, I want to understand, like, where are you going to be triggered? Like, it could be tempting to say, well, when that other person going to get triggered and they can get their shit together? And I'm sorry, if you have that voice, that's your guides trying to speak to you personally, that you have something that you need to release and that you need to allow yourself to be triggered, because we also need to see where you're going to be going in order to realign to yourself. So there's something about your divine guidance team will be lighting, um in some ways, I know Piscean energy is water, but it's sort of like they're going to be, I want to say light a match underneath you, but it's actually more like the tide is coming in, and it's sort of this oh, water rising. When we hear stories about climate change and water rising, you need to pay attention to it. That's your divine guidance team really trying to talk to you, to let you know that there are things within your life that need to be pushed away, that need to be let go of. Sort of as though if you were living on a house in an area that's a floodplain, um just recognizing you can't keep rebuilding in the same floodplain zone, because you need to move, you need to shift. Like, it doesn't have to be literal. That might be literal for like one or two people, but there's something about using water to actually push you along, because you can't live in the water. It's just supposed to be a tool and a resource for your enlightenment. We got 5 of wands underneath there, 10. Like, You have so much conflict with people, and it's creating insurmountable pain in your life because you're tripping on yourself. You're not able to juggle things the way you're supposed to. In some ways, a lot of you guys are actually multitasking other people's energies when you're not supposed to be doing that. And as we go to cut, what do we have underneath there? Knight of Wands. Like, there's something about a quick conversation, getting something off your chest. We do have the sun hanging out on the knight's shoulder. It's a little bit of that sun that we saw earlier. In a lot of ways, you're learning how to really embrace your inner child self to tell a good story. Children are so good at telling stories, but adults accuse children of making up stories. There's something about letting go a version of yourself that you used to feel like people didn't believe you because you made up the story. And that was just egoic adults who are completely disconnected from their childlike self. Like, technically you're not riding a horse. God, you're riding a unicorn. What do we have? King of Cups. You're going to have to be the emotional mature one, but there's something about embodying your absolute emotional maturity and just recognizing your own truth, your own divine self, and you can quickly express it in this energy because there's no reason to hold back for other people if they don't want to come along. As your psychic abilities, because I shuffle it away or cut it away. Your psychic abilities are getting activated, and they're only there to inform you, not to manipulate people, not to try to change things in certain ways so that people get their shit together. You may have been going out something in the exact opposite direction, and this shift that you're going to be experiencing, it's going to make you realize there are people that will listen to you. There are people who are engaging with you, and then rather than paying attention to people who just can't give two flying fucks about what it is you have to say, making this, you know, gentle shift using this North Node, step out of your comfort zone, it says that you're going to actually recognize there are people who love hearing what it is that you have to say, and they're going to benefit from it. So what do we have down here? We got the lovers, and we got our our censor. Oh, he's covered. He's fine. He's cool. Lame. I know, guys. I know. Welcome to the new normal. We got King of Pentacles. I can't pay attention to these cards. I'm snickering to myself way too much. Like, I came across a woman and uh she says to me, she's like, I don't want to take off my hoodie because technically I'm not wearing a bra, like, and I just don't want to it to be noticeable. And I looked at her and snickered, and I said, just don't say anything and no one will notice. Because the poor woman, she was like, she was sweating to death, she was uncomfortable, she was exhausted, and I'm like, just don't mention it. If you don't say anything, no one will notice. And she's like, that's a really good point. Only I noticed because she pointed it out to me. There's something about your insecurities, the things that you're not doing quite right. Like, you're just gonna have to embrace trying something brand new, even if you don't feel completely ready about it. Because we do have the lovers down here. You are being magnetized to your soul tribe. You're gonna start noticing who is part of your real soul tribe, not the karmic communities that you've been accustomed to placating. And you're going to start realizing they actually do have opportunities in the past because we have past life right here. You kept dedicating yourself to energies that they kind of felt sorry for you. They kind of felt sorry that you were abandoned, but they didn't really look at the actual potential of who it is that you are. Because with the lovers over here, this is like masculine and feminine. And feminine energy is the inner knowing, recognizing that somebody's actually worth your time and energy to elevate, because you're going to be meeting soulmates and soul tribes and communities that they will help you elevate and they want to see you elevate. But you cannot find this tribe until you are able to cleanse out a bad spiritual habit where you held too much space for people that they're really not willing to see it. They're like, yeah, okay, I'll take your word for it. But they stay superficial on the surface and they never go any deeper. And you can't force it on them. You may have tried, you may actually be very good at it, but it's actually not your job. And why are you wasting all your time and energy on things that are actually still leaving you impoverished. You're going to be seeing some opportunities. Like in some ways, in order to find these soulmates, this soul tribe, you're gonna have to really trust just walking the path. It's sort of like, if we want to go biblical on you, Jesus encouraged his 12 disciples that the only thing that they need to bring with them is like a pair of shoes and maybe a walking stick. I can't remember if that's canon. Work with me, guys. But basically, it's like, can you just trust when you go city to city preaching about the word of God and the good news that you've discovered from within? Can you just trust that you will be fed, that you will be clothed, that you will be well cared for? Because in their culture, it was a hospitality culture. And you always invited somebody in to eat, even when you were in poverty. And there's something about reintegrating yourself into the correct culture that will take care of you without being a mooch. King of Pentacles in the shadow aspect can be really moochy and tyrannical. It's like, I'm not going to let you into my home unless you really show me what it is you have to offer. And just realizing, wow, you know what? Maybe that's not part of my overall destiny. You recognize these three cards from your pre-shuffle, except they got flipped around, seeing it from a different perspective. This North Nodal shift is going to give you a very brand new perspective as to why opportunities were not opening up to you. And in some ways, having a healthier boundary is going to keep people from invading your energy. And in some ways, like maybe I can't tell if you can see this with the card, but it's sort of like they're both holding the keys, and it's this sort of tug of war where who has the keys, who owns the deed, who actually owns what. This is a very kind of karmic marriage sort of mentality where everyone's constantly trying to one up each other in order to secure their assets. um, and there's an ask for you. You need to make a decision? And it's not exactly an easy decision, but I get a lot of catharsis. I get freedom, but it requires you to actually pay attention to your emotions. You have been ignoring some critical emotions, and there's only so much that I could tell you as to what that's supposed to be. It's up to you to decide within your subconscious knowing if this sacrifice is about sacrificing your happiness or sacrificing a pretend idea of safety. Because once you're able to resolve whatever this is, the core of this nonsense, you will be able to understand why you couldn't get it together. You will be able to understand why you couldn't make it work. Some of you are still trying to force relationships to work based on an old paradigm. Some of you are being encouraged right now to actually start looking at, in your relationships, especially lover relationships, how is it that you have felt about a partner in a way that was uncomfortable? But maybe some of you are going to realize that, hey, it's like, if this is the way I feel about my partner and they're driving me insane, oh shit. What if this is the way that my dad used to feel about mom? What if this is the way that my mom would feel about my dad? There's so many subconscious things from your childhood that need to be brought up to the surface in this Piscean energy so that you stop indenturing yourself to people that they feel like they're good enough, air quotes, like, all right, there, good enough, there we go. But that's it. It's enough. You're being asked to look for more and to embrace more as you move forward with this North Nodal shift. So, I'm going to grab the Wizard of Azanon deck and let's get one card. What is it that my lovely collective will need to embody in order to get off to the right start of this 18-month cycle of destiny and discovery? I love it. The seal of harmonic order. Harmony, cooperation, dynamic interaction. Could you actually believe that good things are destined for you? Could you actually believe that everything is working together for your own good? Sacrifices will need to be made, but a past version of you would have held on to it just because it felt safe, it felt secure, and it felt normal. You're being asked to engage with something that is new, a new normal. You're magnetizing the right soul tribe, the hidden tribe, the one that you always wish that you could interact with. These people, they will see you for the potential that you actually have, and you will have the energy to step up. But in order to find these people, in order to access this timeline, you have to do one simple thing. Feel joy, feel pleasure, find enjoyment with the things within your day-to-day life. This is golden, magnetic, rainbow energy, and you're going to be able to find a community that will support you and that you will wish to support back. A collective that will elevate you, and you will be able to repay them by elevating them back. Just let go of this previous version of you, allow the change to occur, make decisions that are in alignment with who you truly are. I'm just saying. Wow. Well, my delightful little soul tribe, however it is that your North Nodal shift manifests, damn, I sincerely hope that this helped. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you like my style, please make sure to like the video on the way out. And if you need some more support on your spiritual journey, I highly recommend that you subscribe. And until I see you at the next one, I'm wishing you peace, love, and all the berries.